The sun had barely risen when the HOA decided to try intimidation again. They came to the ranch expecting to confront me alone, to bully and pressure, and perhaps make me cave to their endless demands. But what they didn't anticipate was that this wasn't just any ranch. They were about to face the full force of my family's preparation, and my son, a Marine, was home to answer the door. I was in the barn checking on the cattle when the sound of engines and raised voices reached my ears. The HOA president and her crew had arrived, convinced that a show of authority and intimidation would force me to comply. Grandpa leaned on the porch railing, calmly observing. "They really think a few threats and barking orders will work on us," he muttered. I walked to the front, flanked by Jake, my Marine son, whose presence was immediately imposing. The HOA crew stopped in their tracks, surprised to see him. His posture, uniform bearing, and confident demeanor left no doubt. They were no longer facing an ordinary landowner. "Good morning," I said calmly. "How can I help you today?" The HOA president, flushed with frustration and disbelief, stepped forward. "We're here to discuss your non-compliance with the HOA rules," she spat. You will, Jake interrupted with a low, firm tone. "You will leave. Now." His voice carried authority, calm but unmistakable, and it froze the group instantly. The president blinked, attempting to regain composure. "This isn't over. You can't." I stepped closer, calmly documenting the scene with my phone. "Actually, it is over. Trespassing, harassment, and intimidation on this property will not be tolerated. Every action you are taking right now is being recorded, and your repeated disregard for property laws has consequences." Grandpa chuckled softly. "Some people just don't know when to quit," he said. "They'll learn today." The crew looked around, realizing they were outmatched. My Marine son, trained in strategy, discipline, and crisis response, had the kind of authority that no amount of HOA bluster could override. They had expected an argument, a negotiation, maybe some minor resistance, but not this. I watched as the president hesitated, looking from my son to Grandpa to me, understanding fully that they had miscalculated. Their intimidation tactics had no effect. Every word, every step, and every gesture was being recorded, providing ample evidence should any further legal disputes arise. Finally, with gritted teeth and muttered threats, the HOA crew began retreating. The president's face was red with frustration, embarrassment, and disbelief. They had expected an easy target, someone they could pressure into compliance. Instead, they found themselves facing strategy, authority, and preparation far beyond their comprehension. Grandpa sipped his coffee, tipping his hat toward the departing crew. "Some lessons are learned the hard way," he said, "and they just learned another." I checked the security feeds to ensure everything had been recorded. Every second of the confrontation, every flustered expression, every retreating step was documented. The ranch had not only defended itself but had captured undeniable proof of harassment, intimidation, and trespass. By evening, the property was calm again. The cattle grazed peacefully, the sun cast golden hues across the fields, and the message was crystal clear. Anyone attempting to intimidate or overreach on this land would face consequences. Authority, preparation, and strategic foresight would always prevail. As I walked the perimeter with Grandpa, we ensured that all security systems were operational and ready for the next intrusion attempt. The ranch had been tested again, and it had passed with flying colors. Trespassers and bullies had been reminded once more that audacity without foresight had a very high price. Grandpa tipped his hat toward the horizon. "Next time they'll think twice," he said, "and maybe the lesson will finally stick." The ranch rested peacefully under the setting sun, secure in every boundary, reinforced by vigilance, strategy, and the unshakable presence of those who knew exactly how to protect it.